Once upon a time, there lived two friends named Bisola and Timileyin. Bisola and Timileyin have been friends for so many years and they live together in a distant village. They both left their village many years ago to a neighboring village in search of a job, and few months later they secured a job at a very big factory. Every day they would wake up early to head to the factory to ensure that everywhere was tidy for the day's business. Their boss was so strict, so Bisola and Timileyin always ensured that they reported to work very early to avoid encountering any issues with their boss. One early morning, whilst Bisola and Timileyin were on their way to the factory, they saw a man lying by the bush path. The man was attacked by a ravenous beast and had so many injuries on his body. He was unable to move, so Bisola urged her friend Timileyin to assist her in carrying the man to the village herbalist's hut. Timileyin looked at Bisola and asked if she was serious. She reminded Bisola of what would happen to them if they reported to work late, but Bisola was more concerned about saving the man's life. Bisola pleaded with Timileyin one more time to help her carry the man as he was quite heavy, but Timileyin refused and hurriedly left Bisola with the injured man as she rushed off to the factory. Bisola, confused about what to do, carried the man all by herself and took him to the herbalist's hut. The man could barely understand what was going on at that point as he was badly hurt. Once Bisola knew that the man was in safe hands, she left him at the hut and rushed straight to the factory. On arriving the factory, Bisola was queried by her boss, who was too furious to listen to her reason for not showing up at the factory early. Bisola's boss angrily sent her away, saying that her services were no longer needed at the factory. Bisola wept and pleaded with her boss, but the more she tried to explain herself, the more agitated her boss became. So she left the factory not knowing what to do. Despite losing her job, Bisola was comforted by the fact that she was able to save the strange man's life that morning. Every day, Bisola would wander around the village in search of a job, but no one gave her a job. One hot afternoon, whilst Bisola was returning home from her job search, she met an old woman who told her that she should embrace her innate talent, that there lies her breakthrough. Bisola returned home confused as all she knew how to do was to draw. How can my breakthrough come from drawing? She thought to herself, and this thought lingered in her mind till her friend Timileyin returned from the factory. Bisola opened up and told Timileyin what the old woman had told her, and Timileyin began to laugh, saying that there was no way that Bisola would make a living out of drawing. Bisola felt discouraged at that point, but a tiny voice kept whispering to her to give it a try, as she never knows what would come out of it. So Bisola decided that every morning She would go out to the corner of a very busy street to draw. She set up her drawing board and began to draw several images as they appeared in her mind. People began to gather around Bisola's drawings as she drew unique pieces which no one had ever seen before. They were intrigued at her creativity and always looked forward to her beautiful drawings. Her friend Timileyin kept working at the factory but always complained of how her boss made her life a living hell. Timileyin only worked at the factory because of the money, as she dreaded her job and never looked forward to resuming work every morning. One fateful day, this was many months later, Bisola was painting a picture at her usual spot. She was worried that she had been doing this for months and nothing had changed in her life. She got home that day and met her friend Timileyin, who began to laugh at her, saying that she had just wasted all her time drawing instead of looking for a job. Timileyin told Bisola that she was tired of footing all their bills, as Bisola had to go out to look for a job that would pay the bills and stop deceiving herself with her useless drawings. Bisola was so hurt by what Timileyin said and she began to cry. The next morning, Bisola was so unmotivated to go out to draw. She stayed at home all morning, giving herself reasons why she should never draw again, but something kept telling her not to give up. So, Bisola took up her drawing board and headed out to her usual drawing spot. She began to draw a picture that came to her mind that day, and as she was drawing, a certain woman approached her. The woman caught sight of the picture Bisola was drawing and had to stop. "Young lady, I would like to have a word with you," the woman said to Bisola, who smiled and paused her drawing to listen to the woman. "Your paintings are so beautiful, but I cannot help but say that I think I know who you are." Bisola was so confused, as she was certain that she had never met the woman in her life. "How do you know me, if I may humbly ask?" Bisola replied, and the woman smiled and began to say, "Many months ago, you did something for me that is unquantifiable, and I have been on the lookout for you ever since." Bisola began to think, but was unable to remember any remarkable thing she had done for the woman in the past. "Please, what did I do for you?" Bisola asked, and the woman began to narrate the story. "One early morning, you helped a certain man who was badly hurt and left to die by the bush path." Bisola quickly remembered the man she helped months ago, who was hurt by a ravenous beast. She told the woman that she was indeed the one who helped the man that early morning, and the woman began to thank her for her kindness. Bisola then realized that it was her painting that led the woman to her. Bisola had just completed a painting of the woman's son, capturing the day that the ravenous beast attacked him and left him for dead by the roadside. The woman saw the picture and realized that it could only be the person who saved her son's life that could have drawn the picture in detail. The woman then asked Bisola why she decided to draw on the streets, and Bisola narrated her whole story to the woman, who was sympathetic to her for all she had gone through. The woman then told Bisola that she had a proposal for her. She offered Bisola a job to manage her business, as Bisola had proven to be a very kind girl who had compassion for others. The woman then stated that she was on her way to her business site and that Bisola should accompany her there to see the place that she would be managing, and Bisola excitedly agreed. To Bisola's surprise, the woman was the owner of the factory that Bisola previously worked. The woman had heard of how wicked the current manager of the factory was and was looking for a suitable replacement. Bisola then replaced her former boss and became the new boss of the factory. Her friend Timileyin was in shock, as she could not believe that Bisola was now the boss of the factory. The woman also rewarded Bisola hugely for her kindness, and that was how Bisola became established in the village. The lesson to be learned from this story is that it pays to be kind to others. It is important to be kind not only because of the people you help, but because of yourself, as the greatest beneficiary of being kind is not the receiver but the giver. I hope you enjoyed the story. Please like, subscribe, and leave a comment. It helps us grow our channel. I'll see you in our next story. Bye.